Madam Chair, you are live.
Thank you. Evening, everyone. We'll call to order the Arts and Public Places Commission meeting at 7:03 p.m. on September 28th, 2021. At this time, I'd like to ask for approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any comments or questions regarding the agenda for this evening? Can I have a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Joe. Second?
Barbara,
Second.
I think you're muted.
Yeah, Barbara, second? Yep.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I think Barbara's still muted. Cynthia, are you there?
Said aye.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Cynthia. Didn't hear you. Awesome. Okay. The Karma sent out the minutes along with the agenda. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Awesome. Do we have any questions or concerns about the minutes? Does it need any changes? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes, please? Thank you, Barbara. Can I have a second? Karma, second. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
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 Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, it's great. We will move into.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
It's
Krista.
Chris. I just want to let you know I'm here. Okay, thanks.
We'll go straight into Barbara, if you would please, with the Poet Laureate updates.
Sure. Thank you. I sent the flyer just before the meeting about this Friday, October 1st, Eat This Poem. It's a teen open mic night for spoken word and poetry. That's going to be hosted by Maggie Benshaw, our Poet Laureate, and it'll be from 7 to 9. If you guys want to stop by, I'll take some photos and hopefully a little clips and we can put them up on our social media. From Maggie, a quick note to say that she is working on a poetry event for Stuart Moss, who recently published a poetry book, and it's an event with some local poets. So it's really great that she's going to be expanding her network. The big metropolitan event I mentioned in July is going to push back to April for National Poetry Month. Since the venue's pretty big, we're going to decide maybe have a big event and maybe have like a panel of different poets and maybe even talk to the former state poet. And something kind of exciting, working with 1747 Pub about doing some sort of spooky poetry event in the pub for October, hopefully around. So that's something. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you, Barbara. Any questions for Barbara about the poetry updates? Okay. Thank you. So we will move on to gallery updates just real quick. Paul Gillespie is in at City Hall currently, and the firefighter show at Pip Moyer. Audrey Lee has taken over for Elizabeth currently right now. She's our interim gallery coordinator, and she's more than willing to stay on as long as we need her. And I have in new business, we can talk about the gallery coordinator, so I'll leave the rest of it for that. But make sure that you stop by City Hall or Pip Moyer and share the word with your neighbors and your friends. And if you have social media, if you could post about it or share it from those places as well, that'd be great. So proposed mural updates. I don't really have any proposed murals updates at this time, but the taxi mural was dedicated. It is complete. Hopefully everybody has had a chance to go and take that all in and enjoy it. It's beautiful. Another amazing work of art. There are, I think, yeah, I think. Anybody else have any other updates regarding murals? David's not here, so I will open it up if anybody has anything.
No, but I think the taxi mural's great. I mean, I drive past there every day. Looks so good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
fabulous. We are still talking with Laura Gutierrez and some Latino Hispanic artists to do a mural coming up, hopefully, that does integrate poetry in Spanish and then also with the art. So we're looking for a location. Laura did suggest the roll-up door at the transportation building possibly, but I should have that with more information for October. We can probably put that together as a package and discuss it further. Sorry, I'm just getting over an illness and my ears keep filling up. So I'm like, it's really throwing my concentration off. Grant updates.
Well, we did get one update today, which is that we did not receive the grant from the Bloomberg Foundation for Asphalt Art, but that was an interesting process, and I'm going to follow up. I'm sure they'll publish who did get them, and I think that would help us. I mean, they encourage resubmission, so I'd like to kind of take another look and see. I don't know, just kind of try again once I see what they've funded this round. So
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah. Yes, kind of bad news, but I think we still have opportunities, and I have a meeting with April Nyman this week. So I'll talk to her if she knows of anything that we can apply towards it and still possibly maybe go ahead with the project without getting the Bloomberg grant. So we'll see.
That email exchange about the project you just mentioned, yeah, I mean, if that starts coming together, I feel like there's maybe different opportunities there, in part because it's a word and image mural, and it's got kind of different cultural applications. So there might be other sources out there. So just keep me posted.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely resources out there and we can find them. So tap into that. Public outreach updates. So with Laura Gutierrez, I will talk about Day of the Dead, but I mentioned the mural, so we're trying to work on that. I had a meeting, gosh, it seems like forever ago, but I think it was over a month ago with Tola, and we were talking about some different programmings, just kind of re-entering the discussion again about doing some sort of video production, which we've looped Julian in on a couple times about it, but possibly having like a podcast, or just where the kids can learn production within the arts and entertainment, or doing a TV show or something. So there's things that are being talked about. Nothing is concrete yet, but hopefully with the slower months we can be able to put stuff together and be able to present it to arts and public places. Let's see. Anybody else have any other public outreach updates? I was thinking before I hand it over is that maybe in October, when we talk about the public outreach updates, maybe everybody can give kind of an update from their ward. If they've talked to anybody about possible projects coming up, we can take this time. Because I know a lot of times that individually, our commissioners are approached by people in the community, so we can open it up. It doesn't have to be just David and Chris and I doing public outreach. So, but does anybody else have any other outreach updates?
I would just add, and since I'm at large, the I mean, you know that the Pride celebration was postponed to next summer, and so that actually, I honestly think it, in terms of helping them think about kind of arts programming related stuff, is actually sort of helpful. Although I'm super bummed that they had to push it back. So
Yeah, it does give us more time to collaborate. So
yeah, it's yes, and
Which is-
gives them time to think about what they want
Yep.
a bit more. Mhm.
Love it. One other thing I was going to mention is that Damian Sinclair has left Maryland Hall, and there is a replacement that has come in, and his name is James Pennington. And I met him at the Arts Alive event. He's a great guy. He's from Nashville, so crazy, people from Nashville do move here. So we're looking forward to meeting him. I'll bring him on maybe in October. He'd like to come on and meet everybody and talk about stuff that he's done after he's settled in. I'll reach out to him and see what he thinks would be a good time to attend one of our meetings. So City Dock events, salsa, we had our last salsa Sunday. It was a great day for it. It was beautiful. It was a good turnout. Barbara has been doing really well with the teaching part of it. A lot more people have been signing up and staying, well, not signing up, hanging out during the teaching, the instruction part, and learning salsa. It's not just people who already know. So that's great because more people in the community are feeling comfortable and learning to do the salsa and then staying during the whole event. So we look forward to having them back again next year. We do have one more show on the 24th. It's Pete Best and Peterbilt down at City Dock. But all of the other programming is done. Dinner Under the Stars is done. So our partnership with them is complete for this season too. And we're starting to come into our slower time of our year, but which is a great time to start planning for programming next year, as well as going over the budget and figuring out projects. And then I did talk to procurement today, and they sent over the 2011, 2012 RFP for Westgate Circle. So I'm going to send that out to everybody. We'll take a look at it. We'll see what parts we want to edit, what we want to add in, and then we can start moving forward with that RFP and getting out to the public. So during these slower months, we have time to focus on that, and that'll be a good thing to start figuring out where we are with the budget, how much money we can put towards it, other grants that we going to try to find. Are we going to have the state, partner with us on it, and the Arts Council and everything. So I feel the upcoming months will be basically hashing out this RFP for a new piece on Westgate Circle. And then we go into the budget. If nobody else has any other questions or concerns or comments about City Dock and our events of this season. It was a really good season. It went really well. Participation was great. Really, really quite happy with it. So looking forward to next year's programming. Okay, and then send out the budget, and on the bottom of the spreadsheet, there are additional tabs if people aren't noticing that, but it gives the full description and detail of what the checks were being cut, when they were paid, and who they went to. And then the cover page is just our current balance and what's available.
I'm not on the screen, so I am raising my hand, but I'll go ahead and chime in.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Cynthia.
In previous years, we did a competitive bidding process, and we were somewhat compelled to do that as far as for our sound. And I was looking at some of the costs for the sound, and I think if we had perhaps gone through the competitive bidding process, we would have saved some money. In past, John, Ben Krowski, did the sound, and the musicians were very pleased with him, and his costs they came in as the lowest bid. So I am wondering about that. It seems like we have some excessive costs of our sound. And once again, I think going through the competitive bidding process would ultimately save us money. I'm also a little concerned because the code states specifically how we can spend our money, and we are, charged with being good stewards of our budget. And I'm seeing something about a tent and water barrels. Did we pay for that?
So all of that was approved, and just so you know, we did get 3 separate bids for the sound, and we ended up actually canceling providing sound for the rest of the summer because of the additional costs. The costs kept rising. It's the current climate of the pandemic and everything else. Things are very expensive. So
did you send out I didn't see the 3 bids. I must have missed that in the correspondence.
Well, during the meeting, we did approve to pay for sound, and the 3 bids went to procurement, and it was all through Ashley. Everything has been done legally. We are, operating per code, and it was for the 4th of July event that we dealt with. And so the tents were to cover the artists that played on Main Street because the sun was beating down on them.
But how in the world can the code is very specific how we spend our money. It goes toward musicians and artists, performance art. It's very clear in the code. So I don't know how water barrels and tents, isn't that a one Annapolis office of the mayor? They have a 1 million budget.
That was part of
why isn't One Annapolis picking up those costs?
Because One Annapolis is outreach for an underserved, vulnerable community. This was in order to pay for the supplies in order to have the event and to provide shelter for our artists. So it is related. Cynthia, hold on. Cynthia,
asked for that before, but we've never been able to approve that. And down at City Dock, I can tell you, those musicians have suffered.
And I agree, they should have a tent down there. So, exactly. So Ashley did say that if it's relative to the show, as far as production, that we are allowed to pay for it. So we could, and that's why we pay for sound. It's not necessarily we're paying an artist, but we're paying for sound, which helps support the artist perform and provide the show. And the same thing for the tent. So, and the water barrels held the tent down so the tent wouldn't fly off and hurt somebody.
Are you done? Okay. Like I say, we've requested these things in the past. And yes, I think it's great that providing shelter for the musicians. But once again, this was not brought up for discussion. And I think, these are things that need to be discussed before they are approved using back channels.
So we didn't use back channels, Cynthia. We approved a budget for the 4th of July events, and this was included in that budget. And in fact, I came under budget with all the bids for the event, for the production. So it was all done legally and by code and through Ashley and contracts and everything. So, and procurement. So we're good.
These were previous costs that were covered by the office of the mayor. So I think, this is something that we do need to discuss. We are stewards of the budget. Yes, we are flush right now, but we still need to discuss in depth the budgetary and do really line item voting as far as, what is covered and what is not, because I think, we are stretching the code quite a bit.
Can I just say that the May 25th, 2021 minutes, which were approved at our June meeting, line item D, 4th of July activities, was passed. The motion was passed to approve the 3rd of July musical lineup and activities. I believe that that encompasses everything that was paid for that date.
Is there still an events coordinator in the office of the mayor? Wouldn't that come under his purview?
There isn't an events. Well, I mean, Brian is special events, but I don't believe Brian has a budget. Brian's like a liaison for the mayor for special events.
Well, once again, some of these previous costs were covered under the office of the mayor, under the
Special events.
One Annapolis initiatives. So, we're being asked to cover more and more of these events that were previously, coming under the budget of the office of the mayor.
Okay, noted. Any other questions or concerns about the budget? Hey, let's move to new business. Karma?
This is Krista. There
Oh.
was a little delay there. Sorry. I
Okay.
just wanted to say thank you for making sure that we came under budget for the July 4th event. So I want to have that noted for the record.
Thank you, Krista. Karma, will you present the
Yep.
Fourth Ward Unity Day request, please?
Yes. So there is a request, an application for Old Fourth Ward Unity Day that passed, but because we did not have a meeting in August, the organizer of that submitted a request on September 10th, thinking that she was submitting it in the next possible timeframe. The Old Fourth Ward Unity Day consisted of musical entertainment, vendors set up throughout, arts and crafts for children, music throughout the day, arts and crafts for children throughout the day, working with partnerships such as Debbie Wood from the Children's Museum. It took place on September 18th. And the request is for $2,500 to cover the bands, the music. There were 4 different bands that day. The requester says that it received $300 from the city of Annapolis. They didn't request any services from Art and Public Places. They also worked to market the event to private donations and a GoFundMe page on Facebook. This particular organizer has not requested funds in the past, but plans to hold a Unity Day every year going forward. It was held at People's Park in the Old Fourth Ward Unity Day, it's called. So the request is for $2,500 to cover musicians at People's Park on September 18th.
We have a motion to approve the ask of sponsorship of $2,500.
I'll make a motion to approve the $2,500 sponsorship.
And I'll second it.
Well, just a minute, a little bit of discussion here. We've never reimbursed events that have occurred in the past. Is this a new precedent?
Actually, that's how it works. So,
No, I know
yeah.
how it works.
Okay. Okay,
But I mean, they're asking for $2,500 for an event that occurred on September 18th. I mean,
and
couldn't
it's
we
because we didn't have a meeting in August, so we couldn't approve it
I
prior
know that,
to.
but couldn't we have had some kind of email that was sent out to an early part of September that would have kept us, up to date? And, we are allowed now to vote remotely. So this would have been an event that we possibly could have discussed.
We cannot vote outside of a meeting. So we couldn't have discussed it and approved it by email. That's not to code. That's not legal. So we have a motion on the floor to approve $2,500 for Unity Day for Old Fourth Ward. Karma, can I have a roll call, please?
Joe,
Aye.
Barbara? Was that a yes, Barbara, or a no, Barbara? Okay, sorry, your sound is a little off tonight.
It's coming and going.
Yeah, it comes and goes. Cynthia,
Aye.
Krista,
Aye.
Genevieve,
Aye.
Karma, aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. Okay. So I'll present the Day of the Dead partnership and sponsorship request. So
Sucks.
yeah, what's that, Brian?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to myself. My internet connection.
Sorry. All right. Laura has asked for AIPPC to partner with her this year in the Day of the Dead. We have done it before for the Day of the Flowers, and this year, Day of the Dead will be held at Maryland Hall on the 30th of October. So they're just looking for a partnership. And in 2019, I'm looking at their expenses and I'll send this out. Their expenses were 4,000, I think it's $4,092.15. So anything that we'd be willing to help them with, they're projecting it to be right about the same this year. Parks and Rec is giving them tables and chairs. There's, Maryland Hall is giving them the land. They don't have to pay a rental. There's ample parking, so we don't have to worry about paying for parking. There are facilities there too, so they may not have to do porta potties. So they think that, this would be a really affordable event this year, and they don't anticipate their budget being more than what it was before. And I'm sorry, their total was $8,198. Forgive me, I'm looking at the wrong number there. So tonight we're looking to make a motion to be part of this to help sponsor the event. And so we can open it up for discussion. But I think if we agree to help sponsor part of the musicians, so they're going to have musicians and dancers again, like they did before, traditional music and performers, and then a DJ. And I'm looking on here to see what that total would be. So the band is $600 for 2 hours. And the mariachi band is $450. The instruction class for dancing is $100. So that's it's $1,150 for the music part of the event. Any questions, or anybody want to have a conversation about it?
Previous year's Day of the Dead celebration was funded by the Office of the Mayor. We did not have any funds to help support this event in the past. I think, we do need to add more inclusive Hispanic, Latino, and South American events. Day of the Dead is a Mexican holiday. So I do want to make sure we do, think multiculturally and inclusively. But at the same time, I think, $1,200 for the event would be reasonable. But is the Office of the Mayor chipping in some, one Annapolis also.
So yeah, so the other funds, like I said, the event in 2019 was over $8,000. So of course, all the other funds would be compensated, by the mayor's office, probably out of Laura's budget. I would say more than likely, not necessarily directly from the mayor's budget. So it would be from the Latino Hispanic outreach budget. And they're just asking us to pay for the, to be a sponsor in it and pay for the music and the dancing, the performance part of it, which was $1,150.
I would make a motion that we fund the $1,150 as it is a cultural celebration. And that was one of the things that we talked about wanting to increase, as Cynthia just said, our participation in. It would be great for Art in Public Places to have our name as a sponsor on that.
Okay. A motion for sponsorship, $1,150. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Okay, Karma, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Joe,
Aye.
Barbara, Cynthia,
Aye.
Krista,
Aye.
Genevieve,
Aye.
Karma, aye. Motion passes.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Okay, now I'd like to talk about the compensation for gallery coordinator. It's open conversation. I want the commission to come to an agreement of what we should be paying our gallery coordinator for the show. We would pay them per show. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, what we've paid before, if that's been fair, considering the amount of work that goes into it. Elizabeth was putting a lot of her own money into it with the framing and time that she was spending to help the artists too. So I'm not sure. I don't think that's a requirement that we should have of our gallery coordinator. I think the artist should come and be ready to hang, but Elizabeth's just awesome like that. So she was helping our artists out. I also think that we still should keep it open for applicants to apply, but we need to know what we're going to pay them when we put the listing out to get the applicants in. So we have to have this discussion now. Does anybody want to start the discussion? Karma?
Yes, please. Have we talked with Elizabeth about what she would consider? I know that she was, as a commissioner, she wasn't getting any pay, but have we talked with her about like fair market value?
I have not, but I know that Elizabeth won't be applying for the position. I think Audrey Lee will be applying for the position, and then anybody else who does come to apply for it. But I think it was, I think in previous discussions, we said 250 per show.
Previous budget, okay, Arlene Berlin, she was paid $1,200 a year. I think we should increase that to maybe 1,500. But we also are down to commissioners, and perhaps Audrey Lee been invited to perhaps put an application in to be a commissioner. Perhaps there would be a commissioner who might want to take on this.
That is a point that one of our new members may want to be gallery coordinator. So we could do it, like on a contractual basis currently with Audrey Lee, until we have a full commission again. That's an option too, if we want to do that and then open it up. I don't really know, but there is some conflict of a commissioner being paid to be a gallery coordinator. And I thought that we had discussed previously to make this a paid position. So it would have to be somebody who wasn't on the commission to take this. The ward that is open is 3 and 8. So I don't know, because we are not part of that process of selecting commissioners. That's through the mayor's office. The mayor is the one that appoints them. So I really don't know, honestly, if we have applicants for those. If we don't, and if anybody's watching and they want to apply, please do.
There
But
was an applicant, okay, Catherine Dulch. She had put her application in. She's an artist in Admiral Heights, I believe. She's a friend of Elizabeth's, and she's done very good work in the past, and she did want to be on the commission. But I mean, if we had a full commission and one of the commissioners wanted to take on the responsibility of being the curator of the galleries, you know, that's a possibility. But in the meantime, yeah, we should pay Audrey. I think $1,500 a year.
okay, anybody else?
Can I ask? You said it was 250 per show. That
That was a
Elizabeth
suggested, yeah, that was Elizabeth wasn't
Okay.
paid. 'Cause she was a
Oh, right, yeah, but yes, she was saying.
That was a suggested amount, but in the past, it's been $100 per show.
Okay, and that's, I mean, I know the schedule changes, but roughly how many shows? I mean, would that translate basically to 6 shows at 250? Okay,
Yeah.
is that about right?
Yeah, it's well, 6 per location, because Elizabeth was hanging for 2 months at a time. So we
Okay,
have,
that makes sense.
yeah, we have the gallery at City Hall, and then we have the gallery at Pip Moyer.
I mean, I will be honest, I think 250 still sounds a little low to me, given what is required. And or if Elizabeth was also saying that, I mean, she was kind of contributing some of her, it just sounds like that sounds a little low to me.
Yeah.
Especially like one show might take 1 hour, one show might take 12 hours, and
Yeah.
you know,
I agree.
So,
Yeah. And then they also put together the press release.
yeah,
and
yeah.
help with promotion. So yeah, so it's 12 total shows, 2 months at each location.
Mm-hmm.
I would think for now, if we kept that contractual position, and if it's, you know, maybe we do it at a 6-month contract, because if we are filling the positions, and there's 2 open now, it's going to be at least 2 months before we get somebody sworn in.
Yeah.
Just because we know the process of that. So at least for now, if we did a 6-month contract, and even if somebody, you know, was sworn in say December, they're not going to turn around and all of a sudden become the gallery coordinator. It would take, you know, a couple of months to get acquainted with what's going on in the process for setting up the shows and everything else. But I feel like if we have a contracted position at this time, then at least we can move on from this discussion and be, you know, knowing that the galleries are being taken care of, and then put it on the calendar again when we reach maybe the 4-month time frame to talk about whether we want to extend that contract out or not.
Okay. So would it be a 6-month contract at $250 per show?
Yes, that's what I would suggest.
Per show or per month?
Per show.
So if you have 3 different shows in 1 month, you're getting $750.
Yeah, but we don't have 3 shows a month though. So
we have 12 shows total, so that would be 6 shows in 6 months.
I thought we had like 12 at Pip Moyer and 12 at City Hall, and
we do. No, we have 6 We have 6 at each. And Brian, you're not supposed to be talking while we're voting on stuff. But just to clarify, it's 6 at City Hall and 6 at Pip Moyer. So it's a total of 12 shows a year. Because Elizabeth was running them 2 months at a time.
And she started that when she took over that position the first year that I was on the commission, because it was too much work and too confusing to do more than that. And it didn't seem like they got enough benefit out of it for any less time than that.
It seems like, I mean, this is not the right way to say it, but it seems like a little too much art too. That the longer period of time just makes a lot more sense, I think.
Yeah, to have a show every month was a lot.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. Normally shows hang for a long time, months.
Mhm.
Yeah, like average 6 months.
Arlene Berlin was the previous coordinator of galleries, and she would have a 3-month cycle. She did it for years, and she really had to fight in order to get paid. So I think you better run it by the Office of Law and make sure that this contract is doable, because they didn't want to pay Arlene.
Yeah, so we have talked about it with Ashley as well as with Human Resources, and they're willing to help us get this position out to have applicants apply for it. So we just tell them what we're looking for and what the compensation is going to be.
So would we contract, I'm sorry, the person that's currently offered to do it? Tell me her name again.
Audrey Lee, so she could apply for it. Yes, yeah.
So at this point in time, though, would we be looking to contract her for 6 months as we go through the process of putting it out to the public, or are we having her on a month-by-month basis?
Currently, she's on a month-by-month basis, and she said she would stay on as long as we need. And I do believe that she intends to apply as well. So however we present the opening, I do anticipate her to apply to it. So if we decide today to do it a 6-month contract at $250 per show, then she will more than likely, as far as my understanding was with my discussion with her, is that she will apply for that, and then we'll have it open for other applicants too. And then we can set a date on which the application process closes, and then the commission can review the applicants, and then we can select one and move forward.
Okay, and we're not currently paying her. She's doing it as a volunteer basis currently.
Yeah, and that was the second part of the discussion on this. After we decide how we want to move forward, then I was going to ask the commission to pay her for the galleries that she's already done and that she may be doing in the interim.
That makes sense. And she's done 2 shows already?
Yes. Yeah, and the firefighters will be 3, so. Because she hung her own stuff, so that's something we can discuss, but the first show coming back when City Hall opened in July was Audrey, and then now Paul Gillespie's in there. And then the firefighters at Pip.
Right.
I think,
Any further? Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, just I mean, I like the idea of sort of revisiting this in 6 months for all the reasons that we're talking about. And just for me, I'm not trying to spend our money, but I would like to, I can think of a couple of people I can reach out to just to kind of see if there's maybe a slightly different way to quantify what that work is, or, just to kind of, I can follow up just to see whether 250 is close to the mark, or, so that when we have this conversation again, we can see.
Okay. So we could table the applicant process until you talk to your gallery connections, and then, but we could then go on to the second part of it, which was about offering compensation to Audrey for the work that she has already done. And in the interim, she's staying on, and whether we're going to pay her like going forward until we have closed the application process and selected an applicant.
Yeah, well, to be clear, actually, I think 250 is fine as a sort of interim measure that just gives us time to kind of see. I think it's still better than sort of past practice a little bit. So I don't want to derail the compensation issue, but I just am sort of offering to kind of dig into it a little bit more so that we can, if we have to revisit it, we can.
What if we did this? What if we made a motion to back pay Audrey for the past 3 events and subcontract her through the end of 2021 based on however many more events, $250 for each of the additional events between, and that buys us a couple of months to do some research to reach out and also to create the application process. But in the interim.
This is Krista. This is Krista. I just want to jump in here. Genevieve, can you remind me again what Ashley said with regards to these types of services? Do we have to get bids out on this or not? That's one question. The other thing that came through my mind is to double check again with Elizabeth, to chat with her about, I know there's a lot that's involved, but it was always my understanding that the artist takes play in this with regards to when the art is hung, or was Elizabeth accepting the art and then hanging it herself? So in other words, when an artist goes up, I thought that part of it was that they were helping to hang the work as well. So it's like sort of a cooperative joint partnership there between whoever is going to be the liaison and the artist. Is that correct or not? Or was it solely just Elizabeth that was putting everything up?
No. So the first part of your question is that I think ethically it is best that we do open it up for the application process. We don't need to have bids. We can set the compensation on it. But I think it's best that we open it up to the public and not just us appointing somebody without having the application process. Secondly, it was an assistance. So Elizabeth would schedule all of the gallery events. She would coordinate it with the artist. She would contact the artist. She was doing the press releases for it. And she was helping them hang as well as choosing the pieces to go in the space. Then there is the reception. Elizabeth was helping to plan the reception. Generally that was paid for. If they had any food or drink, that was by the artist, that wasn't AIPPC or Elizabeth. And then we provide the hanging materials. We already have them at both locations. So that's not an expense to the artist or a further expense to AIPPC either. So it's mainly the coordinating and the assisting and the scheduling and the planning for the receptions, and also drafting up the press releases.
Do we need to clear through Ashley if we are going to make a decision to give some payment to her at this time, or do we have to clear that first? So maybe this should be tabled until we have a chance to talk with Ashley and then revisit this in October.
No, I don't think we have to clear it with Ashley if we agree to compensate Audrey for the work that she's already done. And Ashley would have to draw up the contract that we would like to present to Audrey for the interim while we take in the applicants during the application process. So, Ashley would be involved in that part of it.
Okay, thanks for answering those questions.
Thanks, Krista. Any other further discussion about gallery coordinator compensation and opening it up for applicants? So at this time, I'd like to make a motion then that we reimburse Audrey Lee for her past shows that she has done in the interim of Elizabeth leaving, and keeping her on a per show basis during the application process, giving her a compensation of $250 per show. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I second it. This is Krista.
Thank you both.
Okay. Oh, okay. Did I overlap? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Thank you. And Karma, may I have a roll call then for a vote?
I'll define you. Joe,
Oh, aye.
Barbara, Cynthia, Cynthia,
Aye.
Krista,
Aye.
Genevieve,
Aye.
Karma's an aye. Motion passes.
Fabulous. Brings us to open discussion. Anybody have anything they want to share or discuss?
I received a request today, but I haven't actually received the application from Rachel Griffin, who is trying to put together an event to honor her husband, Larry Griffith. Sorry, not Griffin, but Griffith. So that is coming down the pike. I'm not sure the date of that, but I know that it's coming up in the next couple of months. So hopefully she'll be able to get that onto the October's agenda.
Thank you, Karma. Anyone else? Brian, do you have any updates from the mayor's office or the city?
I wanted to let you know, besides the taxi mural, also I got a thank you today and about the mural Elevate Your Game at Studio 39. If you guys haven't been by there, just look at the basketball court there. The taxi mural thing did go really well, and the Weems Wayland Field mural looks great that Laura Brino and Jeff and Cummins all did.
Yeah, thank
Halloween.
you. That was the one that was like slipping my mind. I knew there was a new mural, and thank you.
Halloween wasn't looking good 2 weeks ago, but I think we salvaged it. Last year we bought about $2,000 worth of pumpkins up in Pennsylvania, 3 giant ones. The giant ones, when you get up there, luckily we have Bumper, who's been going there for like 10 or 12 years. So he's got relationships. He's given some of these guys down payments to kind of hold them, because the big giant corporations like Macy's from New York City are coming in, and those pumpkins are going as much as $5,000 a pumpkin. So Halloween is also going to have 100 light posts with corn stalks on them. So that's coming together. Christmas seems to be coming together. Let's see, the Day of the Dead you guys brought up, that is coming up. I probably should have tried to coordinate getting Laura to come and speak about it to everybody, but I'm glad you guys at least discussed it. One of the things when you talked about looking for a curator, I thought maybe you could reach out to some of the other galleries like around town, because they might love to have one of their interns or somebody that's working for them and that they can't pay as much as need to help coordinate. It might benefit a gallery that way. I'll try to work with Hillary on filling wards 3 and 8. Yes, the city mayor's office still has a events planner. That's Felicia Nolan. And I guess that's it from my notes from you guys meeting and updates.
But Felicia, just to clarify, mainly does special permits. Like she doesn't actually plan events. She works with the people that bring her events, and then she gets them the
Pretty much
permits for it.
schedules and helps, like, I forget how many, it's like 300 a year out of, so it's like almost one a day average events throughout the city. But yeah, she doesn't plan the event, but she helps the planner, especially when they're not used to the process, figure out how to, all of the details that have to be done for every event.
This is Krista. I want to jump in. I have a question, Brian. Maybe you would be the person to answer. Genevieve, I know you're in the know quite a bit. How the heck do we plan a boat show and homecoming all at the same weekend?
One is
We
one
talked
is
about
city
this
and-
before.
yeah.
We
One
talked
is
about
city
this
and one is
before
county.
over and over again. Yeah, they're just really, to me, it just seems like a wasted opportunity that, not wasted opportunity, but in other words, it seems as though everything's going to plow onto basically one weekend, and whereas that revenue and those bodies and people coming into town could be spread out a little better if it was, one weekend and then the next weekend. So anyway, I just wanted to reiterate that. I know that there's certain times of the year that are in demand. We all know that. But with the way the traffic and everything else has been in the city, this just seems to me to be something that could be resolved. And maybe there needs to be a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. But I'm just really surprised that this continues to happen, even though it's come to the attention of so many people over the years. So that's all. Just
Now, if I have anything
little,
that I can add to what you're saying, Krista, I like how you're thinking. It would be nice to separate some events so that we get multiple weekends worth of benefit for our city. But I can tell you the college football scheduling, we don't have a lot we can say about that. And the boat shows are kind of solid.
No, I know, but we do have a say, though, about giving permits and things to the boat show, though, correct?
Yeah, but making them move around is kind of difficult. They're generally, for I don't know how many decades, have been pretty much the second, third weeks of the year, or first, second, whatever it is, of October every year. And
I can tell you that the boat show lease is bid on and procured 5 years in advance. So every year, the owners of the boat show go in, it's either April or May, to the city council, and they have 5 years in advance, and then they add on a year. So it's always,
Well, maybe we should invite the football. Maybe we should invite the football coordinators to come to that meeting.
What's Navy football now? The Pac-10. You tried to tell the Pac-10 when they get their game on. If you have that authority, then I want to be your friend.
Anyway,
Krista would do it. Give her the phone number. She'll call him.
I would probably take that up.
Yep.
Ryan,
yes,
okay, on the BBC tonight, the news about the sentencing of the Capital Gazette was on the BBC, so I wanted to let you know that.
thank you. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Also, is Max no longer? He was the one who sort of coordinated the Day of the Dead. Max is no longer in the office of the mayor. Is he long gone?
He's gone.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because he, was very instrumental in the Day of the Dead.
Laura Gutierrez is on it, and I'm going to help her as much as I can. I'm sure she could use as much assistance as AIPPC and your board and your friends and family can to help that event and make it as big a success as it deserves to be.
I agree. So once all the details are outlined, Laura's going to send them over, and then I'll share it with all of you. And there'll be plenty of volunteer opportunities. and as well as just coming and enjoying the day with everybody. So I will definitely get that out. If there isn't any other open discussion, Cynthia, your hand is still up. Did you have something else?
Okay, well, I didn't know you could see my hand up, but
I can see it now, yes.
yeah, okay. As you remember, Adriana Lee, she did a fantastic job on the Flower Festival, which was more of a general festival for the Day of the Flowers, which, Brian, you were there. It was very, very successful. They had a lot of dancers and dancing groups from South America, Latin America. So I hope in the spring or maybe sooner, we could plan to have something similar. Obviously, this is still Hispanic American Heritage Month, so we want to make a note of that.
Thank you. Yeah, and that actually leads to a conversation that Laura and I have had about programming down at City Dock. We would like to bring cultural dancing down there in addition to the salsa. And I've talked with Barbara about that too, Barbara Bernstein. And we're going to have a meeting together. I'm going to get Laura and Barbara together so they can come up with some programming for next year. And then I'll present it when we're talking about City Dock programming for 2022. Okay, if we don't have any other open discussion, we can adjourn the meeting if we have a motion to do so.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Great meeting. It's good to see everybody. It's been a bit.
Thank you, everybody.
Stay healthy, enjoy the fall. The weather is beautiful.